Hello, fourth grade, and welcome to topic 5. For this topic, we're going to use different strategies and properties to divide by one-digit numbers. So for our first lesson, 5-1, we're going to talk about using mental math strategies to find quotients. Now remember, quotients are the answer to a division problem. Let's take a look at our short video and then go over our notes together.
How can you divide mentally? Mr. Diaz ordered a supply of 1,800 pastels. He wants to divide them equally among his class and 5 other art classes. How many pastels does each class receive? If Mr. Diaz stores the pastels so each class will receive new pastels 5 times a year, how many pastels are handed out each of the 5 times? Into how many equal groups are the 1,800 pastels being divided? The pastels will be divided into 6 equal groups. Division is used to find equal groups. The dividend divided by the divisor is equal to the quotient. You can use basic division facts and place value to divide. There are 1,800 pastels to be divided among 6 classes. Find 1,800 divided by 6. Use the basic division fact 18 divided by 6 equals 3. 18 hundreds divided by 6 equals 3 hundredths, or 300. 1,800 divided by 6 equals 300. Each class will receive 300 pastels. Why do you use the basic fact 18 divided by 6? You can solve 1,800 divided by 6 mentally using 18 divided by 6 equals 3, and by using place value patterns to recognize that 2 zeros need to be placed after the quotient of the basic fact. Let's look back at another part of the problem. If Mr. Diaz stores the pastels so each class will receive new pastels 5 times a year, how many pastels are handed out each of the 5 times? To answer this question, find 300 divided by 5. Why is 300 divided by 5? Mr. Diaz hands out pastels 5 times a year. So the quotient of 300 divided by 5 gives the number of pastels he hands out each time. Use the basic division fact 30 divided by 5 equals 6. 30 tens divided by 5 equals 6 tens, or 60. 300 divided by 5 equals 60. Each class will receive 60 pastels 5 times a year. Now you know how to divide mentally.
Great job! You're good at math.
All right, let's go ahead and get into our guided practice and our notes. So for our lesson today, 5-1, mental math, finding quotients, we're going to use basic facts to help us solve larger division equations the same way that we use them to solve large multiplication equations. So go back to your basic facts. If I have 300 times 5 is equal to a number, I'm going to use my basic fact of 3 times 5. So 3 hundredths times 5 is equal to 15 hundredths, or 1,500. So that's how I would do it to find my multiplication fact. Now, if I want to use it for division, if I had 1,500 divided by 5, I'm going to use the basic fact of 15 divided by 5. So 15 hundredths divided by 5 is equal to 3 hundredths. 1,500 divided by 5 is equal to 300. So what I did was I dropped those 2 zeros. I did my basic multiplication or my basic division, and then I added those 2 zeros back onto my answer. Another way I was able to do this, or another example of doing this, is to find the quotient for the following equations, and then write what basic fact you use to help you. Now, if I have 36 divided by 9 is equal to a number, I know that 9 times 4 is 36, so 36 divided by 9 is equal to 4. Now, if I have 360 divided by 9, I'm going to use my basic fact. I'm going to drop that 0 for a minute and do 36 divided by 9, and I know that's 4. So I took 1 0 off, I put that 0 back on. So 36 tens divided by 9 gave me 4 tens, which is 40. If I have 3,600 or 3,600 divided by 9, this is going to follow the same pattern. It's going to equal 400. So 36 hundredths divided by 9 is equal to 4 hundredths. I dropped those 2 zeros. I did my basic division. I got my 4. The 2 zeros that I dropped, I added back onto my answer. So these are the same strategies that we've used in the past. We're just applying them to larger numbers. Let's go ahead and take a look at our guided practice for this lesson. So number 1 says, explain how 32 divided by 4 can help you solve 320 divided by 4. So I can use my basic fact of 32 divided by 4, which equals 8, to solve 320 divided by 4. So I dropped that 0. I did my basic fact, 32 divided by 4. And I wrote it out this way. 32 tens divided by 4 gave me 8 tens. So 320 divided by 4 gave me 80. For number 2, you can see that I wrote out the question and annotated it to help remind you how to annotate your questions on your own. Mrs. Gall orders 240 folders and divides them equally among 3 classes. How many folders does each class receive? What basic fact did you use? So I circled the numbers and the important facts. I underlined that she divides them equally. Then I underlined the 2 things that this question is asking me. The first thing it's asking me is how many folders does each class receive? And what basic fact did I use? So if I have 240 folders and I need to divide them equally among 3 classes, that's 24 tens divided by 3. So the basic fact I'm going to use is 24 divided by 3. So I know 3 times 8 is 24. So 24 divided by 3 is going to equal 8. So if I have over here 24 tens divided by 3 is going to equal 8 tens, which is the same thing as saying 240 divided by 3 is equal to 80, because 8 tens is the same as 80. Each class is going to get 80 of those folders. For number 3, it gives us a series of division equations and we have to solve them. So our first one is our basic fact, 28 divided by 7. I know 28 divided by 7 is equal to 4. 280 divided by 7. If I drop that 0, it's still going to equal to 4. And then I put the 0 back on because this is 28 tens divided by 7 is going to equal 4 tens. Over here I have 28 hundredths because there's 2 zeros divided by 7 is going to equal 4 hundredths. So whatever zeros I take off when I do my basic fact, I add them back onto my answer. Same here, 64 divided by 8 is equal to 8. So 640 divided by 8 is equal to 80. I have 1 0 here, so there's a 0 here. 6,400 divided by 8 is equal to 800. I dropped those 2 zeros to do my basic fact of 64 divided by 8. I added those 2 zeros back onto my answer to find my final product. That's it for this lesson. It's mostly a review of what we've already learned and these strategies that we've already applied in the past. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, take care and have a wonderful day. Bye, 4th grade.